Welcome, everyone, to episode 18 of the draft. This one, we'll be talking about the Great American Getaway at Pocono. Kind of crazy, guys, that we're on episode 18 in a 36 race season. I mean, made it pretty much halfway here. It's kind of nuts. I'm joined as always by Phil Eastman, Tino Patino. Tino, we'll start with you. How did your Mexico City race go? Did you enjoy the race? Did you win any bets? Was it a good weekend? How'd you like it?
So I liked the weekend. I thought that was an awesome experience. Watching everyone go to Mexico. First, I know we don't talk too much Xfinity on here, but Daniel Suarez winning that race was very cool to see. I know, you could think it's rigged, it's this or that, but him having to start from the back and actually drive through the field there, that's where it really gets me going. So I thought that was pretty cool. In terms of the whole weekend, to see an SVG masterclass like that and a domination race, for that to be what the race was, I enjoyed it. I'll say that. I thought it was a great race. I thought maybe not a great race, but in terms of like what the race was itself, in terms of SVG, in terms of Mexico City and everything like that, it went kind of how I thought it I think from that standpoint, with SBG being the favorite and everything like that, it was hard not to talk about him all throughout the weekend. He's put in that seat for a reason. And in terms of my overall draft, definitely the worst one of the year. So I'm glad to get that one out of the way. And to see you guys tie is something I'm really excited to be talking about as well, because we got really close last weekend, and now to hit it for Mexico, it's pretty cool to see.
You might be muted, Ryan.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was muted right there. But yeah, we'll bring that up right now. You mentioned the tie. We'll head right into Phil and how his weekend went, and thoughts about the race. I thought it was kind of crazy that Phil could tie with 299 points and not have SVG in the lineup. So pretty killer lineup without having that beast, 50 pointer in there. So Phil, how'd you do? Did you enjoy the race? I thought it was cool, real quick, just from like a strategy standpoint. Like you said, if someone's going to go out there and whoop everyone, at least there was some cool strategy involved throughout the race. So, Phil, what'd you think? How'd you do?
Yeah, so just a couple different thoughts on it. I thought it was. I'm surprised how much I enjoyed the race for a race that ended with a winner that won by 16 seconds. And I don't know if that had to do with the track. I don't know if that had to do with the coverage, like actually showing battles throughout. Because while he was dominating, we saw like Chase come up through the top 10. We saw guys at the back end of the top 10 battling. So that was a good way to kind of, mask what was an absolute ass kicking at the front. And I had a great day gambling. So these road courses, like I don't necessarily love road courses, but gambling wise, did very well. And I'll take it and run out of Mexico. So yeah. And SVG, I mean, I tried to be different. If I had just taken him, instead of AJ, I would have won, but whatever. I'll take a half point.
Yeah, it was a fun race. One bet that I had lost that drove me nuts, and again to we'll call them debates or whatever you want to call them on X with people was Larson going out there and putting the qualifying air pressures in his tires and just running that fast lap and stealing that away from SVG. That was, I'm not mad about it, I guess. I'm disappointed I lost the bet, but it just seems odd that you could repair a car and then go out there and run the fastest lap and take that from someone who battled his way back to the lead and then stole the fastest lap back. He had it early, lost it. Then he battles back, gets it again. That was pretty cool. And then to see someone come out there, a third of the race down and just put the qualifying setup on and run a quick lap, I just thought that was kind of lame. I know not everyone agrees with that, but I just wanted to see what you guys thought. One cool thing that people keep mentioning is why don't you give the point to the pole winner? I think that'd be kind of fun and make people tune into qualifying a little more. Uh, Even though sometimes it's on Prime and people don't like that either. So I guess we all just complain about everything all the time. But Phil, what do you think about that as far as being able to go out late and just rip a fast lap like that when you're not even really a part of the race at that point?
Yeah, I got mixed feelings. I mean, it feels uncomfortable, but I think that in the F1 world, like they stole that whole thing from F1, and in the F1 world, that's like kind of what they do too, from my understanding. Like I limited experience watching those races, but there are times when guys that are not in contention to win the race come down, they get fresh tires, and they get the fastest lap on, the last lap to go. So like that's not abnormal from a other series standpoint. It's weird, but I also kind of like seeing a team fight that's like dead to rights, like out of the race, and if you're there to see your favorite driver like Larson and he wrecks early, it gives him an opportunity to like fight for something. So like I could debate both sides. If this was social studies class in 5th grade and we were debating this, I could be on either side of the fence.
Sometimes when you're debating with people on X, it feels just like 5th grade. So that's a good analogy there. So Tino, what'd you think about that aspect of it?
I'm not gonna lie, and I don't know if I'm too like pro, I don't know, things that are exciting or stuff, if you want to say that, but like I didn't mind it because to me, it gets him back doing something that matters, that is also a part of the race in itself. It's a race in a race, right? So it's like to give those guys kind of props. I think I'm looking at it from like a pat on the back to the crew and the driver and the
Yeah.
team that put him back out on into the field there. Which people may not agree with, and I do like understand that, but I'm not against it. Like for Kyle Larson to go
Looks
out and put
like
out fast laps like that, I think is okay.
yeah, he's playing the hand he was dealt. So it's in the
Mhm.
rules. That's why like I don't mind. It is what it is. I
And we
just
did
was
want to get
like,
away from the DVP as well. So I feel like people that are saying that shouldn't happen, not that they're saying he shouldn't be allowed back at all, but I just feel like this is a good way to reward the hard work they put in.
yeah, they stayed
And
within the rules. So I mean, it is what it is. It felt a little weird. It made me kind of think like, I'll think twice when betting those fastest lap on
Mm.
tracks where I could see that happening, and that one was pretty obvious. Someone could go out there and you have no traffic around you at all. So you just have free reign to just go nuts out there. So something to consider when we're betting those in the future.
road
Coming from
courses,
the guy who's I've already
I,
bet like 5 fastest laps for this week, but go ahead.
well, I think road courses are definitely one where you'd want to avoid that market for that reason. But imagine a scenario where we've got a couple guys that are out of the race and they're kind of looking down pit road at each other, like battling for the fastest lap in that same scenario. Like, what if we had Kyle Busch versus Larson? They just keep throwing on fresh tires until they're
Yeah.
done. Trading fastest laps. Like, that would be a fun side mission for
Hmm.
the broadcast to kind of have. But I'm in no way saying like I'm all in on that whole concept. I'm just trying to come up with reasons why it's not terrible.
All right, cool. Yeah, I think they played within the rules. They got the point. It is what it is. All right, let's move on. So we're gonna do a quick race preview here for Pocono, a completely different style of race here. Uh, but again, I guess a big track. I guess that part's similar. It's big, not even close to shaped the same way. So we'll let Phil get into his race preview here for Pocono. Phil, what do you got?
Yeah, this is one that I love to talk about because this is my home track in Long Pond, PA, up there. 2.5 mile triangle. So those who are new to gambling, maybe this is the first time you found us. This is the only triangle on the circuit. 3 total turns. They're all different types of turns, modeled after different racetracks. Trenton is turn 1, Indianapolis Motor Speedway is turn 2, and the tunnel turn, and Milwaukee Mile is turn 3. They got the longest straightaway in NASCAR in that front stretch. It's unbelievably long. And the crew chiefs, come into play with their, strategy here at Pocono. Brian, I think you sent some stuff out. You could maybe talk about that in a couple minutes about the tires maybe being a little bit more of a factor than they have, but fuel strategy is definitely something that comes into play at Pocono. So it's tough to find consistency here. Track stats, 91 races in the Cup Series. Winners start on the pole 16 times. Last time it happened was Kyle Busch in 17 with an asterisk that I'm going to mention in a second. Top 5 winner started there 56% of the time. Top 10, 70% of the time. In the next gen car, the winner has started 8th, and 3rd. Again, with a little asterisk that I'll mention here. And the winner starting outside the top 20, it's pretty rare. 7 times out of 91 attempts, the winner has started back there. And in the next gen era, we've seen a manufacturer from each manufacturer have won one of these races here in 3 tries. Now, I keep mentioning this asterisk because in 2022, this is worth mentioning because of the data that you're pulling, depending on where you're looking and what kind of thing you want to skew. Denny Hamlin crossed the stripe first, and Kyle Busch, his teammate, finished second behind him, and both of those guys were DQ'd. So various sites have it listed differently. Some sites have Denny as a first place finish, some has DQ'd in 35th. So you just have to be aware of that as you're going through. And also another reminder to check every now and then, check up on the sports books for their rules and regulations, because that's what happened in 2022, a big to do. Greg Mathern's amazing at putting together all that information. Just making sure, do you have who crosses the stripe as the sports book ruled a winner, or is it the actual final results post inspection and stuff? So be aware of that as you're digging into your data this week from 2022, kind of messing some things up. But and Iowa just said in the chat, I cashed 2 outrights that day. Fantastic. That's fantastic. So yeah, that's the breakdown. And I will be, maybe save this for later, but I'll be up in Pocono on Friday. I'm not gonna be able to stick around for the cup race, but for Friday, I'll be up there. So I'll mention that again at the end.
Rock sweet. You'd mentioned the tires, so I pulled that up just to let everyone know this is a completely different tire than they ran here last year. The left sides they ran this year at Vegas, Homestead, Darlington, Texas, Kansas, and Nashville. And then the right side they ran on the Indy Oval last year. So completely new tire. The whole goal, according to Goodyear, is to try and get more tire wear and have tires matter more in this race. So could be fun. Hope it works. I mean, we're always hoping for that, and we'll see what happens. We're not going to know until we see these guys out there and how it looks in practice and qualifying. So it's a bigger track, but hopefully we get some longer runs from some of these guys so we can get a good idea of what's going on. All right. As you saw, I'll pull up throughout the race too. I have the incident adjusted speed for the 3 Gen 7 Pocono races right here. If you zoom in your eyes real close to Kyle Busch right there, you'll see why that car probably failed, because that is insane. So he's way ahead of everyone. Definitely a cheated up car, but and that also too was a JGR year, and then you can see where he enters hell, also known as RCR, and they just destroyed him. So anyways, I'll pull that up throughout the night here, and then we can talk about that as well. If you are new to the draft, what we do is we select one driver from every team on the left there. Big Three is another pick from Hendrick, Joe Gibbs, or Penske. We select a best of rest, which is one driver from any team that's not listed on the left, and a wild card can be another driver from any team, even if you've already picked a driver from that team, even twice if you use them in Big Three. So you can have 3 guys from the same team in this draft. We'll use real NASCAR scoring. The winner gets to pick a charity of his choice, and Win the Race will donate. I'll double the donation from Win the Race this week since we had a tie last week. So whoever wins this week, we can get a pretty good one out there. All right. So we're at Pocono, big track. We have more data in this package than any other package this season, the intermediate package. So it is a large track, but that's what they run. So I think we're looking for a lot of speed. 23-11 here. Let's start out with Phil. Phil, who's your first pick for the Pocono draft?
Well, I'll make a pick, but I also want to throw a question out there to you guys and then anybody in the chat. Like, what we saw last week from Reddick was ridiculous. And I think what we've been seeing, I think somebody said it in the chat. Who was it? Big Ross was saying, is that a body double for Reddick? Something seems to be going on. I'm skeptical about this whole team with this drama and the lawsuit and everything going on. Like, I have to imagine that's causing a little bit of weirdness, because tracks that we've seen these guys being good at this year, they just haven't been. And yeah, there it is right there. Reddick's been MIA for a month. So I'm coming into this, doing my due diligence, finding some good things about a couple of these guys. I'm going to go Reddick because his numbers jump off the page to you. I mean, we got to go back looking at it with the DQ. I mean, second, and sixth were his finishes there, and even with the DQ, fourth, second, and sixth, like all top sixes. Makes you think like, yeah, top five for Reddick would be a great bet. Throw him in there for maybe an outright. I'm skeptical of doing so though, because of what's going on with him. It's like wherever he's been good in the past, something's off this year with that team. And if I'm comparing him, apples to apples against his teammates, I got to go with Reddick. But I just like to hear, what people are saying. And Bubba, he crossed my mind. Like if I went last year and you guys both took Reddick, I would think about taking Bubba because he's like flirting with a top 10 every time we come here in the next gen. But the same thing applies to him. Like is this lawsuit thing kind of weirding them out? I don't know what's going on. So I'll shut up and I'll hang up and listen.
That's all good. We got to hear it. That's why we're here. So Tino, take all that into consideration. I'll take Bubba. You take Herbst. We'll call it a day.
Well, you're gonna put the guy with 7 wins with Herbst, so it does make sense.
No, that's all right. You pick. Go ahead. You're next up. We haven't heard. I feel like we haven't heard you talk in a while. Sorry, I skipped over you there for a little bit. But
No, all good.
You're up here. 23-11. Who do you got?
All right, so I'm going Tyler Reddick as well. I'll say that. I think the reason I don't want to go with him is all the things Phil mentioned about him being off, right? And the guys in the chat too, Kyle, I was saying it. I believe Big Ross mentioned something like you said there, Phil, about how he hasn't really been Tyler Reddick that we saw all of last year and kind of all the year prior as well. But the thing that I'm thinking about with Tyler Reddick is similar to Ryan Blaney in this sense, where I'm scared the second I take my outright winner off of him or my mind off of Tyler Reddick, that's when he's going to win. That's when he's going to capitalize. And to be honest, at a track like Pocono and the stats that he does have here, I feel like he's really close to breaking out and getting a win at this track. But it doesn't make sense for me to feel that way with how he's been running the season. So that's why, just like with Ryan Blaney when he won at Nashville, and I sat here in this very spot and all three of us did and said, don't take your eyes off of Ryan Blaney this week because that's when he'll get you. That's how I'm feeling about Tyler Reddick. I got to go with Tyler Reddick plus 1,200 to get an outright win in this one. To me, I sit here and I say, I don't know how I don't take that. But as Phil mentioned, they haven't really been living up to our standards. So, and here's Iowa saying it too. He'll let him prove it and bet him live. May be the best case scenario for you in this one. But like, being objective, with how Phil mentioned the drivers that start inside the top 10 winning this race, that value is going to go down after practice and qualifying. So I'm going Tyler Reddick. I want to say yes and I want to say no, but I'm leaning yes all the way, even for an outright winner with him.
No, I think it's the right pick here. I did bet the 12-1, but I can't really bet on that on FanDuel. So I did put what they let me on there just because the number I thought was good value. So like one thing I wanted to show, we came out with Loop Edge today, and it's basically like an enhanced loop data. So I'll pull up this one here. So this is what these guys are doing at Pocono in the Gen 7, because we're not really considering Herb. So I just pulled up Bubba and Reddick. Reddick's, 3-0 in this matchup, finishes of 2, 4, and 6 here. I mean, it's hard for me to go away from that. I understand that he keeps burning us this year. But if you look at the bigger picture, this is all tracks that are over a mile and a half in this season. And Reddick is showing up all the time here. I mean, just from the top guys that I'm showing here in incident adjusted speed on the larger tracks in the intermediate package, Reddick's showing up right with the big dogs. Byron, Larson, Reddick, Hamlin, Blaney. I mean, that's the big dogs of speed right there. So I understand. I know how frustrating he's been. It has been really frustrating, but he's fast. Like, so eventually it's going to work. It's kind of like what we were saying with Blaney, and then Blaney finally came through. He's going to come through one of these times. One of these times he'll put it together. So I don't know. I think 12 is very long. The books don't even, no one's probably putting any money on this, why they're not moving it. So it's like everyone's scared. when everyone's scared of someone, I feel like that's kind of when they come back. We said it with Blaney, it worked. I don't know. I just kind of got that same vibe. So give me Tyler Reddick here as well. And then plus, like I showed 3-0 against Bubba in this, and that's really the matchup we're looking at. Tino, I'm going to let you lead off here with front row. Who do you got for front row?
I feel like this is always the hardest one of the entire draft, these guys. I thought I was on to something with Zane Smith last week. I wasn't. Breaking down these average finishes at Pocono, it's just not good for either of these drivers. For Gregson specifically, at 37th, 22nd, and at 24th. For Todd Gilliland, he's got a 34th, 15th, and a 22nd. Zane Smith wasn't really even popping off the page for me either. So right now, I'm between the two. I'm going to go with a driver that I feel like won't get in a wreck this week. And I feel like that's Todd Gilliland. Not too much hard-hitting analysis for you guys, and I apologize for that if you're mad about it for front row here. But I'm just trying to get the most points possible. His 15th and a 22nd. Better than a 22nd and a 24th from Gregson. So I know strategy will come into play. Maybe they're the type of team that does take a little bit of that action into this race. But overall, I'm just trying to get a nice top 20 out of these guys.
Yeah, this is definitely the hardest one. So I'll go into loop edge here. And I basically did just true performance, this team only, which is what's cool about here. You can sort by team, which is super helpful when we're doing exercises like this. And it's just again the same. It's basically every track over a mile long. How have the front row guys performed? And that's why I use the true performance here. Unfortunately for Tino, I don't see Todd Gilliland on there much when I look at the top of this list. I only took a picture of the best performances. It's really all Noah and Zane. But like you said, I don't have much to say other than look at that. And then we also do our 20,000 simulations. And in those 20,000 simulations, Zane minus 173 over Todd, minus 170 or minus 138 over Noah. So I got to trust all the hard work we put in there. So I'm just going to take Zane Smith here and hope for the best because I think that's all you can do here. Phil, who do you got for front row?
Yeah, I thought you were queuing up a Noah Gregson pick, which was going to make me happy because I had Zane written down for this one. Maybe because I'm looking at some of the win the race data also myself, but more of a feel situation. I mean, if you're looking at last year's speed, he had a faster car than he ended up getting a finish for. He seems like the type that benefits from some of the strategy tracks. Maybe that's just me misremembering things or kind of willing that to existence. But when he ends up, making a good move on strategy, it seems to pay off for him. And that's when he seems to be up there. So I'm going to be taking a look at Zane this week for the draft. And, it really is a dart throw, honestly, because we have no data to pull from for Zane other than just like this year. But as far as Pocono track history, one race is nothing. His truck race stats, I've been working on trying to pull truck race stuff for my show, and his stuff at Pocono still isn't that great. It's not like we could say he dominated there in the truck. So I don't even have that to stand on. It's just kind of going off of what you said, Ryan, with these simulations and him being faster than his teammates last year.
All right, awesome. Let's go to a team where we could be split up here. I think, there's, again, a lot of good options on a fast team like Hendrick. I'll lead it off here. When we ran the simulations, I was a little shocked and taken back when I saw who was number one. Greg and I don't talk about it before. He'll put his inputs in, I put my inputs in, let this thing rock out 20,000 races. William Byron is going to be my pick here. He came out as the number one, which I didn't think anyone would come out above someone who we'll talk about, I think, here for the next team, probably sweep it there. But I got to go with William Byron. If you look at all the stuff that I've posted already in the loop edge, like William Byron is just friggin' fast everywhere. I mean, shows up the most when we look at these large tracks in this intermediate package as far as being in that top speed. So I mean, how can we go against him here? I don't know. Like, if you guys don't pick him here, I fully expect you to pick him in Big Three or Wild Card. We'll see which way you guys go because there's a couple different options you could do. But I mean, this dude is too legit, and he's going off late in qualifying, and we know he qualifies great. So I expect William Byron to be running up front And barring some sort of getting out of the loop with some weird strategy or caution coming out at the wrong time, anything, I expect Byron to be up front all day. So give me William Byron here. Tino, we're going to jump back to you.
Well, I got a question for you, actually, Ryan, because Kyle says he can't bet him outright since William Byron can't win right now. I want to know your take on that because that's something I'm scared about too. William Byron, fastest car at Coke 600. We saw what happened there. Nashville was up there, didn't get it done. And then I feel
I
like
tweeted about
Michigan,
this.
yes, yeah.
I tweeted
What do you
about this.
think?
He had in his last, so he's had 13. So his last win was at Daytona. In the meantime of 2024 and 2025, he won this year too, right? So those are his only wins. He's had 13 top threes in that time without a win anywhere else. So it has to happen. We talked before the show how dominant he was earlier this year, leading 200 and whatever laps and running 80 something fastest laps in that race. And the dude can't get the win. So, yeah, I know that crap can happen, but like, this kind of goes, he's faster than Reddick. I'll say that. But like, it kind of goes what I'm saying with Reddick. Like, eventually, these guys are going to win. So, I don't know. Do you stop betting them? People didn't do that with Blaney, and then they won the Blaney bet. So I think there's ways to continue to bet these guys. You could look for alternate markets like the most fastest or fastest lap or something like that. They tend to be around the same for him. I think he was like, plus 850 for fastest lap. So if he qualifies well and gets that, and then he doesn't win, maybe you go that route. But I don't know. 13 top threes in that time. I mean, dude's gonna. So I know what it was. The 13 top. I didn't pull up the tweet, so I was just trying to remember it. The 13 top threes was from his last win outside of a super speedway. That's what I meant to say. That was Martinsville of 24. So he won that race, Martinsville of 24. Since then, that was in April. So 13 top threes in a little over a year. That's pretty badass. But a win's coming. It's gonna come. It's got to happen for him.
I agree with that. That's why you can put William Byron on my thing, on my draft here board there. Okay, so William Byron for me, I was surprised as well to see him faster than drivers like Kyle Larson, faster than guys like Alex Bowman in this one. But I also love what they're saying in the chat about William Byron, that he is the Baltimore Ravens. And I feel like that's just the best sort of way you can describe him. Dominant, always there, potential MVP, season with the most wins, and then just doesn't get it done. And that's what we're seeing each and every week. Kyle saying Rudy is John Harbaugh. That made me laugh. Big Ross saying Byron is too soft to be a Raven. And then Big Ross also saying they're not building Legos in that locker room. And I think that's just true. William Byron needs to build himself a trophy out of Legos this week. I don't see him beating some other drivers on his team for the win necessarily, but I think this is a good spot to take him, especially, and I got to shout out the Loop Edge because I'm using mine right now. If you guys can see my tool on my iPad over here, awesome stuff from you and Greg. I wanted to shout that out at some point in the show, and I'm doing it now because this is just so cool to play with. If you guys aren't checking it out yet, go to wintherace.info and look at that because it's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool too how you can look at, like, you can just pull up this year and just go to finish and just see where all the finishers started, or go to starting position, see how all the pole position finished in every race, and it just loads immediately. It's pretty cool. Byron to me can win this week. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I'm on it this week. Phil, who do you have for Hendrick?
Yeah, you can mark me down for Byron. I mean, I was going to take him at some point, so might as well just make it visually easy to follow. And it's you're the fact that he did come out number one on your rankings definitely shocked me because of the guy that I'm going to talk about next, who I think is the absolute, Terminator here.
So nuts, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I think it's because you've got like the package, the intermediate package, kind of weighing in on this, and Byron's been so strong. So that took me by surprise. But then I'm looking at, he finished 5th here last year. He's 2nd in the next gen driver rating. 11 career starts, 3 top 5s, 6 top 10s. Like I mentioned at the start of the show, like when you look at career stats here at Pocono, just like top to bottom, it is so difficult to find drivers like with a 50% hit rate even to finish in the top 10. So like Byron's one of those guys. He's able to show some sort of consistency. So, yeah, he's 8-1 right now on MGM. I like Byron at that price. So yeah, he'll be added to the board here for me for Hendrick. I don't want to be different in that category.
Well, he's classic. Like, could go out there and be really fast in practice, and then goes off late in qualifying. Then the 8-1 is gone. He'll be 5-1. So, if he does what we expect. So let's lead right into Joe Gibbs. And Phil, I'm going to let you handle this one because you had just mentioned who I know you're going to mention. If we stick with the football references and talk about championships, then he's Kyle Shanahan. So
Dan
let's just let
Marino of
you talk
NASCAR.
about a guy. Yeah, and so you said guys who can consistently show up here. Well, why don't you mention the guy who's won 20% of his 35 races here? So go ahead.
This one, we'd be silly to try to play defense against Denny Hamlin here in this category. So he is unbelievably good. And I didn't realize, I think year by year, I pull up the stats for Pocono, I write them down, and then I get excited about betting on Denny, and then I kind of forget about it. So like each year it's like a new epiphany for me. And this has to be his best track. There can't be a better track because, looking at his numbers here in his career, you mentioned it, 35 races, 7 victories, 16 top fives, 23 top tens. That's like godly. He owns this place. So, and it's not slowing down either. I mean, Denny is Mahomes. At this track, I mean, it really is unbelievable. The DQ, if he didn't have the DQ, right, talking about winning or crossing the stripe, his next gen finishes are first, second. 3 race average of 1.3 is just insane, no matter how you split it. So, like, I'm not going to be able to say much more to convince anyone out there that Denny's good here. Like, it's clear. The data says it. Your own eyes can see it. So now it's like, well, how do you make money off of Denny this week is where I'm going with this. And I think, I took Toyota because I think he's too short to take outright. So I took Toyota because he's the big dog, and the Toyota line is not that much shorter than him just outright. And then you get guys like Reddick, Bell, some of these other Toyotas that are in the mix. So I'm happy with that. But top 5, it's like, will the sun rise in the morning? Will Denny Hamlin get a top 5 at Pocono? -110, probably not the best odds. People might not like that, but to me, this is an auto bet. 3 for 3 in the next gen car. Speed ratings off the charts. 7 of his last 9 starts at Pocono, he was in the top 5. So, like, yeah, there you go, right there. Incident adjusted speed, he's better than everybody.
By
It's
a
just,
wide gap too. That's why I
yeah,
like incident adjusting speed like this to me is just more accurate than like if you just name it 1 through whatever because you see the gap. So like you see the alpha compared to the rest of them. He's just on average much faster than everybody. So I love looking at it like this. So you can kind of see like, oh, these guys are neck and neck. Oh, well, there's a big jump up from this tier to the next tier. It just makes more sense to me this way. So if that's why you're wondering like what these numbers are, they're really just like when Greg does it on Win the Race. It's just like average miles per hour over average green flag speed, if that is a good way to look at it. Easiest way to explain it. So just wanted to explain that. Go ahead, Phil.
yeah, no, and Big Ross just said it in the chat. It's a question, and I'll answer that question. I think him not having to go to Mexico, looking up, seeing his favorite track on paper, is the greatest thing that could possibly happen for Denny Hamlin betters. And is he sleep deprived? Fuck no. Like, what do we know about Denny Hamlin? He's the most selfish motherfucker on the face of the earth. He's making that poor woman do everything. So no chance he's sleep deprived. So give me Denny Hamlin this weekend in my category and a number of different bets as well.
So Greg posted the -110 top 5 in the Win the Race Discord too as a
beautiful
bet that he's putting in there. So totally agree with that. One thing that I will say is I don't have a Denny bet yet, and I wanted to pick your guys' brain about this, and everyone in the chat too. For me, he's not the best. He doesn't really care a lot about practice. He it makes that perfectly clear more than half the time. Uh, and he's going out not too late, like kind of in the middle of the pack for qualifying. He hasn't qualified better than fifth here in 10 years, and he's still this dominant. So, like, I'm hesitant to bet it now where I think, like, even if you can just get a even money bet for top five or just something like that, that's kind of what I'm waiting for. Or if his 4.5 to 1 turns to 5.5 to 1 or anything like that, like, is it worth waiting for? Or do you think he can just go out there and pull it out of nowhere? What do you guys think?
I'd wait for sure with Denny.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess that's my thought right now.
It's worth waiting, I guess, because like they can't make them that much shorter. I agree with Iowa though. Like I don't know if he meant it's going to go the other way, get longer.
That's what people said though at like Michigan, and it did. He's
Okay.
like, I think I got the top five like 135.
If this, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, hey, that would be a treat if that were to happen. I think that would be a miss if I was running a sports book. I don't think I would move it no matter what happens. He could be starting 30th, and I would still keep him at the same price because of his history here. So, but yeah,
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
if we were
that's where
doing
we
it, but like,
come into
yeah,
come into play. We jump on it, of course.
yeah. So that's the thing. Like, I can't knock a minus 110 top five for Denny here. It's automatic. Like you said, it's a great bet. But I don't know. I gotta like sleep on it tonight, and then I'll see what I want to do tomorrow. I mean, there's no shame too in hitting it twice. If I hit it at minus 110 now and it does lengthen, then just bet it again. And so there's that option as well. Tino, are you gonna be any different here, or are you? And you got any notes you want to add on Denny? That's fine.
Well, the only notes I was thinking was the Mexico stuff about that. I think it's a huge benefit to Denny Hamlin this weekend to not only not go to Mexico and like obviously he had the baby and everything going on, but like that's extra sleep, like going from in and out of the country and stuff like that, or whatever, to Mexico. So my point is also that I wanted to bring up with Denny is what Kyle said here. Do you guys like Tom Toyota at plus money over the top five? To me, that's where we can honestly use some loop edge tool, right? Because then we sort of put him up against the other Toyota drivers. Well, who's out there that can beat Denny Hamlin in this one? Maybe, and I'm just saying maybe just to put other Toyota drivers against him. Christopher Bell would be potentially on that list. And then I'm kind of like at a loss because I'm looking at the stats from 2024 on the loop edge tool right now. Oh, Tyler Reddick could be a guy, but like we talked about Tyler Reddick already. So I'll let you guys, sort of talk about that one as well too. Like, what do you think about putting him at top Toyota now and then potentially waiting on top five, or what would you rather have at this point for Denny Hamlin here?
Well, I think it's kind of like what I said before. Is like, so I'd probably wait because Briscoe's going out late and he wins every goddamn pole. And so that will lower his number if he does that again. Bell has been notoriously great at qualifying on intermediates in that package, at least, even though it's a larger track. And he goes off wicked late as well. So I think he's the last to go out or something stupid. So, I mean, if they both go out there and qualify 1 and 3 or 2 and 5 or something like that, and they look fast, and Denny's qualifying 14th or 11th even or anything like that, I just think it's not even like Denny's numbers going to float because they're scared of Denny at that point, or like don't think he's got the speed that they thought he would have. It's just that these other numbers are going to come down, and then that could create just a little extra value on Denny because I'm sure Briscoe's not at a great number right now, but if he goes out there and pulls it, that's definitely going to come down.
Yeah, a lot of drivers have more opportunity to beat Denny Hamlin on Saturday than just that's just it. Like Briscoe, like you said, Ty Gibbs could even go out there. Christopher Bell's going out last, Iowa mentioned as well. I think there's a lot of guys that would beat Denny on Saturday, but won't beat him on Sunday.
So let me ask you guys this, and then I promise we'll move on to the next one. We spent a lot of time on Denny, and obviously, everyone knows he's great, but that's kind of what I'm going at here. This is a stupid thought for a better to make, but I just want to mention it. It's like it seems like the easiest bet of all time, like the most public. Everyone knows Denny should win this race type of bet.
Mm.
I feel like everyone can't make money at the same time. Like we're all just going to make money at the same time. I just feel like that's way too easy. I don't know. Like something rubs me wrong about it. Like it's too easy or something. I don't know. And everyone is on it. Everyone. So
Would it
what's
be
the deal?
crazy for me to bring up SVG last week? I know, completely different situation, but that's what people were saying. We were talking about SVG, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know, can't bet him at 2-1," which is fair. I understand that,
Yeah.
but at the same time, he won by the largest margin of victory that we've ever seen in Next Gen Era. So
Yeah,
2-1 was fair.
we say it about Corey Heim too. You
Yeah,
can't bet him at plus 150, and he just goes out there and
leads every
mops
lap.
everyone. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fair enough. All right, we spent enough time on that. I apologize to everyone listening, but it's good to talk about all the angles here.
I ain't apologizing for nothing. That was great
Yeah.
strategizing.
All right, good. All right, so let's get to Penske here. Again, pretty. I think it'll be pretty chalky here to start this one out. Uh, I'll go with Ryan Blaney. I mean, my analysis is very simple this week. Like large track, intermediate package. Who has the speed? Well, I pull up Loop Edge. I look at it. I see who's popping. These are all the fastest guys in all those races. How many times do they show up in this picture, Ryan? Gee, it's almost like I took a picture of it. There it is. So it's insane. I mean, if you look at, I got one that's even better here. So if you just look at true performance only in this tire package, so every track that we mentioned earlier that they're using that we ran this year, this left side tire, this is how Blaney shows up with Larson as the top, followed by Byron, Reddick, all the guys we're mentioning here. So these are your guys that are performing best on this tire this year. Not saying every track is exactly like this. Is Darlington just like Pocono? No, but really nothing's like Pocono. Greg ran his all his correlation stuff earlier, and he's like, dude, I can't really get anything to correlate with this. Like, basically, we just got to look at speed on any track we've seen him this year that's over a mile long. Like, okay, word, pull up, loop edge, we got it. And it does seem to track because you look at all those names, those are the guys that are winning races and are very, very fast. So I got to go with Ryan Blaney here. I know that's probably a layup to most people listening. And I know in the Win the Race Discord, some of those guys are in here in the chat. They're all over Blaney this week, especially Iowa. And sorry that I made a Niner diss. But Tino, I'll let you go next. Penske, who do you got?
Got to be Ryan Blaney. You took most of the words right out of my mouth, but the biggest thing I want to talk about him as well was last year. I was on Ryan Blaney earlier on in the week. Last year was awesome because I got the 14-1 number. That may have been after qualifying as well. I'm not too sure. But either way, that was something that I was awesome to have and awesome to sort of feel the vibes that he was going to go out and win that race when not a lot of people were saying that was going to happen. So to be on that side of things last year, to now see where he's at this year in terms of his speed every race, and then you brought up the numbers too. It's right there. And I will throw this one over to Phil now because Big Raw says it really all comes down to if Phil wears the shirt. I know you're not wearing it tonight. So I brought some backup just in case. Ryan Blaney.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
God. Yeah.
There we go.
Nice.
You probably can't see it, but I am wearing my Ryan Blaney hat. It's the flag and anthem hat, the number 12.
Oh, nice.
There we go.
Like
there we
that.
go.
The number 12 hat. So yeah,
I did notice I noticed a big 24 on your shirt too, so that could be a sign.
True.
24
I got
on my shirt or
No.
Tino.
oh,
Yeah, there
okay.
we go.
That really caught me.
So yeah, I mean, Pocono is the home of the shirt. It's where I bought it. It's so tough to go back to back at this track though. Now, and I didn't take them outright because 7-1 I think is so. I don't know. I was looking for a Ford to play defense against my Toyota play. I love Blaney this week. I'm going to be cheering for him. I don't know if I'll throw the shirt on. If I wear the shirt, I'll usually wear it on Wednesday nights too. But he's my pick. I mean, for sure, rooting for him, trying to find the best way to bet him. I feel like 7-1 just isn't, it's just a little too short for me. But those stats that you just showed are very intriguing. So by race day, I'll probably have an outright on him. Personally, I don't know if I'll put him on like the card that I put out there for full tank, but yeah, I mean, he's definitely, he can't go unnoticed this week, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so another sweep there. Now is where it could get interesting. Phil, I'm going to stick with you. Who do you have for your big 3 pick?
I'm going to go with Chase Elliott. And I'm just going to point you guys to death. And that's because that's what it's all about. I mean, the thing about it is I'm looking for drivers who have shown consistency. He's got 15 career races at Pocono. 10 of them are in the top 10, 66% hit rate. He's 3 for 3, finishing in the top 10. In the next gen car, he was the Johnny on the spot winner in 2022. But, without that, third place finish, pretty damn good. Fourth in driver rating. And the thing is, like, Hendrick had their day here for a long time. Like, they dominated back when Casey Kane, my favorite driver, was, running with Dale Jr. And like they went back to back to back to back. And Hendrick's always fast. They always have fast cars. So I'm not saying that Chase Elliott is going to go out and win this race. I think he's priced at a pretty decent number. He's like 15-1, I think I saw on some books. So like that's pretty intriguing. Let me see, 16-1 on Bet Rivers. Like that's pretty good for Chase Elliott because they're going to be fast. And in this game, I'm not asking him to win the race. If he did, great. But he hasn't. I was doing the math because I took him top 10 minus 125, and that was on Bet365. I was looking at his year this year because I always use the phrase pointing people to death. That's what he's doing. He's got. He hasn't had a finish worse than 16th in 10 straight races. He hasn't finished outside the top 20 all year. So that's pretty wild for someone who like doesn't seem like they're like really having a kick-ass like season. They're doing like old school style. Like they're just getting good finishes and keeping it going week to week. And last week, was another situation where it was fun to see him come through the field, ends up on the podium. And I think he's looking up and seeing Pocono, and it's not a bad situation for them, as I said. So Elliott probably likes Pocono a little bit less than Hamlin, but he's definitely towards the top of the board.
What's weird about him is that there's all different tracks, and I don't mind using like all 9 intermediate tracks with this because Pocono's different, too. So like in that 9 race set, all those tracks are a little different from one another. He has only 3 top 10 finishes in those 9 races, but somehow has the 6th best average finish in the package. So it's like, because he just doesn't, like you said, like he's just pointing you to death. He's just not making the brutal mistake in finishing 35th. It's like he's just there. So yeah,
if this was Noah Gragson doing this, we'd be calling him the Noah Constrictor because like he's just strangling everybody on a week to week basis, just doing their job, going out and scoring points. So Chase Elliott.
So I'll go a little different here for mine. I'll stick with the same team, but I'll go with Kyle Larson. And obviously, this is a speed thing. I just showed that chart, everything in this tire code that they've ran this year, who's had the best true performances in, of the top true performances, Larson, Blaney leading the way, followed by Byron, Reddick, Barry has 2 as well. But one thing that I think is interesting about this tire code is the right side was used on the Indy Oval last year. And who put the boa constrictor stranglehold on everyone and just picked them up and put them down, racing from the back to the front and winning that race? Kyle mother effing Larson. So give me him. I know it's like hot take, dude, but like, yeah, he's super fast. This isn't one of his best tracks though, so I did think it might be different from you guys. This is definitely not like a Larson track when you get here, like some of them that we have and some of them that are used in that data set. But man, I just love the speed. I love how great he is in and out of the pits. So just give me Kyle Larson here. Tino, who do you have for your big 3?
Well, I was going to go with Kyle Larson, but now I'm changing it to Alex Bowman.
Nice.
Throw Alex Bowman on there for the big 3 for me. And I'm going to be the first one to say when Phil picked him last weekend, I was a little concerned for him because he just had the big hit in Michigan. Things weren't really going his way. And then he just absolutely had a great race at Mexico. So this is one of his best tracks. I had the stats pulled up for you guys. They went away on me here. But I do know for a fact, though, he's been getting the finishes at this track specifically, and that's where it matters most. I think he may be the best Hendrick driver on this circuit, which is crazy to say when you compare him to guys like Chase Elliott, who we just hyped up, Kyle Larson, and we all know we're on William Byron too. But if he is to get, and I know there was 3 drivers that I remember last year that were strong throughout the race consistently. Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, easy choices. Alex Bowman was number 3 for me, at least. I don't know where he ranks in terms of total speed rankings off the top of my head right now, but I know he was up there throughout the day. And I can see him getting a win here. Honestly, I think if he is going to get a win at some point this season, I believe it could come at this track.
Yeah, one thing that I did notice, which is very interesting here. So there's a couple guys, because it's good that you mentioned him, and we'll show this picture because we're going to lead right into another guy that I noticed this with. So if you look at, each year, who's been getting better every year? Well, the team we're going to talk about next, Busher and Keselowski, have gotten faster every year at Pocono. The
Mm.
other guy, kind of sandwiched right in between them there, Alex Bowman, getting faster every year at Pocono in the Gen 7 era. So, Tino, if he keeps that trajectory going, he's going to be even faster than last year, where I think he finished, where did he finish last year? Top 3?
He
Yeah,
had a
finished 3rd here last year.
yeah.
So, and he was top 10. He didn't finish a stage outside the top 7. So, dude had a rocket and has been getting better here every year. Those are some things you love to see. So, that's a great pick. Now, I'd mentioned these RFK guys in here. We can just lead right into that pick there. I'm going to make mine short and sweet. Mine is going to be Chris Buescher. And Buescher was, on the top of that list I just showed you there, faster than his owner and teammate, Brad Keselowski. And just, when we simulate this race 20,000 times and win the race, we have Buescher winning that matchup over Brad minus 169. So give me Buescher here. I'm a big fan of him this weekend. Phil, we'll go right back to you. Who do you got here for RFK?
Pusher. And we don't have to spend too much more time. You just kind of laid out a little bit there for him. I just, Michigan kind of thrown out there as like a secondary comp track for the speed there, and he went very well at Michigan. Things really worked out for him there. And you just talked about the progression of getting faster at this track. I took 20-1 on my podcast, as a forward bet. Like I said, if it wasn't Blaney, I needed to find somebody else, and Buescher was right in that sweet spot. So threw a little half unit on that. Into Buescher this week.
Awesome. Tino, who do you have here for RFK?
I'm a big Buescher guy as well this week, mostly because of the speed he brings to the long racetracks we've run on, especially Michigan, to see the comparisons from there, to see how fast he was there. Like we talked about the drivers that were in play at that track, really Denny Hamlin, William Byron, Chris Buescher, I felt like all day. Obviously other guys came and went, but those are the 3 fastest cars. I think I'll bring that same sort of speed. So I'm right there with you guys.
All right, cool. Why don't you just lead it right into Spire then? We'll switch up, go from Ford to Chevy. Who do you got here for Spire? This is always a tough team between 2 guys, really. I don't know if we've picked, maybe we've done like one Justin Haley pick the entire year between the 3 teams. So who do you have here for Spire, Tino?
Well, you're not getting another one out of me, probably for a long time in terms of Justin Haley. I got to go with Carson Hocevar. I'm hoping Ricky Stenhouse Jr. settles his beef, not on the track, and I don't think it will come on the track because of the whole fine he'll probably get from NASCAR. Although at the same time, he's not one that really cares about stuff like that, as he punched Kyle Busch in the face, and I think he would probably do that again. I know driver's going to be racing against Hocevar, aggressively trying to block him, things like that, because of the things he's been doing. I don't really mind that. I don't think you can when it comes to this game of the draft and trying to bet on or place the best guys that could get the best finishes throughout the most speed. He's been bringing a lot of speed throughout the season, more than the other 2 drivers. I guess McDowell at Mexico was a different story, and I'd probably go back to McDowell when we get to Sonoma and the other road courses. But going to be Carson Hocevar just from a speed standpoint.
All right, sweet. Phil, you're going to be live boots on the ground on Friday night, so you can tell us and Hocevar if Pocono is a shithole or not. Who is your pick here for Spire?
Yeah, it's going to be Hocevar, and it's the fact that he was serviceable last year here. He wasn't total shitbox. He's run okay in the trucks. He's going to be running in the truck race in the 7 truck, so we're going to like that. If Recchi does get revenge, I do think he's going to have to fight him at this point. Wrecking him on the track would be silly with all the shit talk. So, yeah, I mean, I think, and in addition, with the fine and everything, I could see Hocevar really putting a solid race together. and it's going to be fun to watch this, like, as a case study, how this young guy handles all this stuff. But it seems like from the shit that he's tweeting and saying, like, he's saying all the right things, and it seems like genuine. So I gotta feel like something's there. So if he can block all that stuff out, or at least maybe harness that instead of blocking it out, and improve upon what we saw last year, which was an okay first cup race at Pocono, I think this guy's going to do pretty well. And I don't think the bar's too high here with Haley and McDowell at Pocono. McDowell's going the other way as far as his finishes at Pocono the next gen. So we're gonna go with Hocevar here.
Yeah, I had mentioned earlier how 9 races in the intermediate package, all different style tracks, shapes, sizes, everything. Tires, all that stuff's just been all different this year. Carson Hocevar, in those 9 races, these are the drivers that he's behind in our true performance scores to win the race. Byron, Larson, Blaney, Hamlin, Reddick, and Bell. Then
The big
Carson
dogs.
Hocevar.
The big dogs.
So yeah, like he's a big dog. He's got to get the finishes, but he's a big dog right now. So he's got to have enough gas, and he's got to get the finishes. Not have whatever other weird stuff. He's had so much weird stuff happen to him this year. But I think he's kind of a dark horse here to win this race. So give me Carson Hocevar. I really like him. Just the size of this track with the speed that this team has brought in this package this year, dude could definitely be live. Best of the rest. So we're gonna have Tino's gonna go last for wild card. So I think what we'll do is I'll go with my best of rest here, go into Phil, and then oh no, I'm thinking of it the wrong way. Tino, I'm gonna let you lead this one off. We're gonna go across the
Okay.
board this way, and then we'll end with you for wild card because we're doing last place last week, last pick of the draft. So all right, go ahead. Best of the rest. Who do you got?
All right, sweet. Well, I'll give a shout out to Eric Jones in this one, who's going to be my best of the rest guy. Glad you put me first so I can rattle off his great stats at this track. A 10.7 average finish in the next gen era, a 61% top 10 rate throughout his whole career here. And this is all stuff that's making sense, right? We're talking about the long tracks, the fast tracks like Michigan. We were on him then there. But not only that, what he's doing so far this season in terms of the uptick in speed, that's where I want to really hammer it down, because I believe Nashville, he had a strong run. Michigan, we knew to get back to him there. Obviously, I'm not really thinking about Mexico anymore when I'm looking back at average speed ratings and stuff like that. Throughout this season, for a guy like Eric Jones, they have been producing results, and especially after practice and qualifying, each race, it seems like, cutting his starting position in half. 22nd, I remember he started, maybe that was Coke 600, not too sure off the top of my head, but he finished 11th, is my point. 17th, finished inside the top 10, and he's always consistently starting mid-pack, but if he's able to pass those drivers and get through the field, this is a track I see him doing it at. Another thing, too, when I'm checking out the Loop Edge tool, my favorite thing to do at any point in the day now, it's Eric Jones. You look at all the big dogs. I think I was looking at the top 10 specifically, and he was right there, number 11, right under the drivers that could go out and get a win for you. Eric Jones has got to be the best of the rest in all categories for me this weekend.
Yeah, so on Loop Edge, I just pulled up the 2025 season in order. Eric Jones, he's doing exactly what you're saying these couple races here. So we take out Mexico City because it's just not what we're talking about for this race. Michigan started 22nd, finished 11th, cut it in half. Nashville started 14th, finished 7th, cutting it in half. Charlotte started 27th, finished 13th. As good as you're going to do, started 27th. You got to cut that in half. You can't finish, 13.5. So yeah, 3 races in a row, he cut it in half, just like you said. Doubled it up, started 16th, finished 32nd at Kansas. I know he had trouble there. Then Texas started 14th, finished 5th. So yeah, I mean, we've talked about Eric Jones on this show a little bit over the past few weeks here, since he has been bringing the speed and it seems consistent. So I love that pick, man. That's a good one. Phil, who do you have here for best of rest?
Was my guy, man. Yeah, and I'm not changing it either. I truly believe in Eric Jones. Plus 275 on ESPN for a top 10. That is, I think, the best number you can find on him. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Hold
But
up the speed. He's there with like some big dogs. Like people would say, like, who's faster, Bubba Wallace or Eric Jones? People would instantly say Bubba Wallace. Like, well, wait a second, Jones right there.
13 races at this racetrack, 8 top tens, and Tino was just kind of hitting on it. I didn't hear if you specifically called this out. My apologies if you did, but like to drive that point home, if you didn't, average starting position in the next gen car 27.0, and his average finish is 11.3. Like that 27th
Yeah.
is his average starting position. And
Yeah.
so it goes with what we were just saying, like Big Russ said in the track, like he's a track history guy. He does well on the tracks that he likes. And we think Darlington when we think Jones, but Pocono is right there. And it's not just in his time at JGR. Like next gen, he's in legacy equipment. He is someone, dude, like I'll just go on a soapbox real quick. Like he is someone that when free agency and silly season starts to like kind of pick up in a couple years, he has earned the right for a varsity ride. He has gone into legacy, which is now I know Toyota's probably giving them, a little bit more attention, but he has gone into that place, which was not looking good. It was bleak, riding around in the back, and now he has performed well enough to get some attention. And yeah, I mean, top 10 this week is very doable for Eric Jones. And I'm not a DFS guy, but if this same thing happens starting 27th, like I think my point that I made on my show is like, I think you'd be able to take him. And it's a little different if like Denny was starting the back. Everybody would be on Denny, but I don't know if everybody would be on Eric Jones because that's kind of where you expect to see him start. So what's the top 10 price, Phil? It was plus 275 on ESPN this afternoon. I originally took it at 2-1 on DraftKings, and then I saw ESPN drop, so I took it there as well. So yeah, big believer in Eric Jones. I'm not gonna deviate from my plan here. Good pick, Tino.
We have that just about fair, 279 for a top 10. So yeah, if you believe in it, then you make that bet. Not bad. I went a little different, which is kind of cool for the show. So I'm going with Josh Berry. And I kind of just noticed this naturally in doing my other picks here. It's not someone when I sat down, I'm like, oh man, this is going to be easy. I'll pick Josh Berry for best of rest and just, crush these guys. It's not, didn't think that at all. This came totally random. I noticed it in the one chart I pulled up where we're talking about any drivers who have scored, over an 80 in my true performance in this, that has ran this tire this year. And then Berry pops up on the list more than once. So I'm just like, oh, okay. So like he's up there with some big dogs, same as Reddick, one behind Byron in that little, it's a mini sample, but still, we're looking at this year and they're racing at Pocono right now. So really, we just got to use what we can. The other thing too with Barry that I noticed, like 2023 in Xfinity, he blew away the field by a mile to win the pole in that Pocono race. Led 50 something laps, ended up wrecking out of the race. Comes here in Cup in 2024, qualifies fifth. Again, doesn't get the finish that you like to see. So this is a little scary for me, for our purposes here, trying to point it. But when I go into Loop Edge, I pull up Josh Berry's season and I see where he's finishing on these larger, ovals or in this package on the larger tracks. Michigan finished finished 12th. Kansas finished 6th. Vegas, obviously, he won. So I mean, there's so many times. Charlotte finished 12th. So just when I'm looking best of the rest, if he could finish in that, I don't know, 7 to 15 range, I'll be okay with it. But I think he might have some sneaky upside for more, I guess is what I'm getting at. So even Harrison Burton, I think in that year 2023 where Barry just spanked the field in qualifying in Xfinity, Harrison Burton finished top 10 at Pocono in the Cup Series. So I don't know. That's a Wood Brothers car. They finished top 10. Why couldn't Josh Berry do it this year when he's much, much faster than they've been in the past? So give me Josh Berry here. I'll head right into my wild card pick so we can get it going here. We're a little over an hour. I'll go with Christopher Bell. I thought this might have been a little different than you guys, even though it might seem like a chalky pick being, from a high-profile team. Dude is pretty consistent, but that's, kind of exactly why I'm picking him here. Gen 7 finishes of 4, 6, and 12 at Pocono. when he finished 12th, he was top 10 in both stages. So this is definitely someone I think that can go out there top 10 or top 5 if needed. He's going out last in qualifying, and we know he's been known to lay down a fast qualifying lap in this package in the Gen 7 era. So give me Christopher Bell. I think he can do it. If you look at the speed that I posted earlier, pretty rock solid. I mean, he's up there between Blaney and Busher in Gen 7 races at Pocono. So give me Chris Bell. I just wanted to be solid here and kind of grab some points with my wild card pick. So, Phil, who do you have?
Well, I was staring at Bell. I think Bell is probably the best of the rest that haven't been taken so far. But in my mind, I was going to go different no matter what you said. So I will be different here. Going to stick with the same team. Staring at Chase Briscoe because of what Martin Truex Jr. has done. But I'm actually going to go with Team 54 and Ty Gibbs.
We're going back-to-back Team 54 weeks on the draft.
That's right,
Whoa,
man.
Is Team 54 in here tonight?
He's right there.
He's in
here. He's in.
Yeah.
He's been here. So,
well, I got this screen up, so I can't have the comments up and you guys in my notes. So, I'm limited here.
Here he is. Here he is.
He's
boy.
Oh boy.
So Gibbs, man. So a few different points. All right, this is more of a longer shot here for me in this draft. It's a risk. I'm not going to say it's not, but there are points to be made for Gibbs. So first point, the chart that you keep showing where it's showing, at Pocono incident adjusted speed, like he's progressing, he's getting faster. If I was reading that correctly when you had it up, it's at the bottom, but there he is. Hit a rough 2022.
His first year in Cup was
rough. But last couple of years, he's there. Finished 5th in 2023. He was running well last year. I think Team 54 said earlier in the chat, his engine gave out with 30 laps to go. So he was running well. It was a 27th place finish, but it was not a deserved 27th place finish. This is a driver who performed very well at Michigan, 3rd place finish there. That's what we want to see. Looked like a world beater last week on Mexico City. Different track, but still as a team, knowing that they can put a race car together at a track that he looks like he's going to be good at. Now we're going back to a track where last year he won the pole right in front of me. I was the first one on pit road giving thumbs up. There was nobody else in front of me on pit road. I was the first one as he was coming in cheering for me. He gave me thumbs up. He is very good off the truck, very good qualifying. We know this. We've seen this. But to see now a little bit of momentum, and I'm going to call last week momentum because he got fucked by the caution and the host of our incident. Would have loved to have seen that battle, but he was the trendsetter in that race, really. And now we're going back to a track where he is proven he can hang with them. And I think he's going to be right there. So I'll take him in my wild card. You went with Bell. I wanted to be different. So we'll go with Gibbs.
For a lot of that race last week, too, we had the practice scores that I put on Win the Race were 4 of the top 5 in the practice scores were running 1, 2, 3, 4. So it was just man, it was feeling good. So I don't know. Shout out to the practice scores. Those who are on Win the Race know they've been stupid accurate. So I can't wait to run practice this week and then fire off some more bets before the race. But Tino, you have crushed in this last spot in the draft before the last pick of the Pocono draft in 2025. Who's your wild card pick?
Well, enter Sandman. Call me the closer. Wild card time. AirPods just died. Don't need them. This is what I've been waiting for. This is what the people want to hear. It's the wild card, and I'm giving you guys a chance in the chat. I don't know if you're ready for it or not. You better be putting in your guesses to who I'm gonna throw out there, because one thing I wanted to be sure of, and you guys did the same thing, so this is actually pretty cool. I wanted to be different. I looked at the big 3. I'm not going to lie. Wild card, originally, I was like, maybe I go Kyle Larson. Maybe I go Chase Elliott, And honestly, I thought about Christopher Bell, and that was the cool part, because then you went with him, Ryan. Yep, Kyle's right on it. Trevor Huffman. No, not this week. If anything, I'd go MTJ this week if I could. This driver in his last 4 races at this track, a 10th place finish, 11th, 8th, 5th, finished 4th at Michigan. There we go. That may have thrown it out there to some people. If you still don't know, well, then you better hop on wintherace.info and check out the Loop Edge tool, in which, out of active drivers right now, he ranks 11th in last year's speed at this racetrack. I'm talking about Bubba Wallace. Let's go.
Wow.
Throw him on my board here in this one. If we want drivers who are fast at the big tracks, that's him. Especially, I looked at Michigan. I brought that up, a 4th place finish. Been consistent here. Not as much stage points in a game that's worth points here on the draft. I would have liked a little bit more. Christopher Bell, probably a better edge there. Ty Gibbs, maybe you can give him a run for his money, but I do like Bubba Wallace. If there's any money out there for a top 10 market, that's where I'd go for him. Maybe even a little top 5. Right before he went to Mexico, this is a guy that's back. Like, guys, he's back. Nashville, great finish. Michigan, great finish. And I think, as Tommy said, that's how you draft. So we're going with Bubba Wallace in this one. Give me the wild card play. I could be undefeated in my wild card era here, going last. So that's how you draft. This could be the clip. This could be the moment. And I'm looking for my 8th win. Give it to me with Bubba Wallace.
Yeah, he had a rough stretch there. I mean, of just absolute crap happening to him. 33rd, 33rd, 35th, 3 races in a row. But then you get to Nashville, finishes 6th. Get to Michigan, finishes 4th, like you said. So a little Momo here. And even you can count last week. I mean, last week, totally different track, but still, like, if we're talking about momentum, you go to a track where historically not a great road racer. Starts 25th, finishes 12th. So I don't know. Maybe the momentum's real for this team, and they have a hot summer here. And it is supposed to be, I think, wicked hot. I know it is here in upstate New York, going to be wicked hot, like through the weekend and into Monday, Tuesday. And I think the Pocono forecast is looking the same way. So, all right, cool. So we ended up pretty different there. That's going to be a really fun one to track on Sunday. I know we're over an hour, so we'll make this quick. Thank you to all our partners on the bottom there. Phil, why don't you tell everyone where we can find all your great work? And again, everyone in the comments, I won't sign off at the end here. I'll let these guys do their thing, and then we're gone. Thank you guys for tuning in as always. It's very much appreciated. Win the race. If you're interested in it, go ahead and shoot me a DM on X or email me or anything like that. I'll hook you up with a discount code to go try it if you haven't tried it yet. Just let me know. But we got a bunch of cool tools on there that we mentioned tonight, and we use them all the time. It's a lot of fun. Phil, where can they find your good work? And then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And yeah, go Ty Gibbs this week. But Full Tank with Phil's name of the podcast. You can find me on X and Instagram at Full Tank Phil. And going to be putting the truck race episode together on my YouTube, the Full Tank with Phil YouTube. So give that a look for Friday. And I'm excited about this week because I will be at the truck race Friday afternoon. So if anyone is listening to this and will be up in Pocono on Friday, send me a message. Hopefully we get good service this year up there, and maybe I can kind of catch me, walking around with my cooler beer and have some drinks. So yeah, appreciate you guys in the comments, Tino and Ryan. Always a fun time. This is a highlight of the week, and looking forward to this weekend at Pocono.
Sweet. Tino, where can they find you?
Well, they can find me at Pocono on Sunday. Phil will be there Friday. I'll be there Sunday for the Cup race. I'll be wearing the gold jacket, so if anyone will be there, like Phil mentioned, I won't see Phil. That's the funny part about it. Phil will be there Friday. I'm coming in Sunday, but it'll be awesome. I'm really excited. Looking forward to being in there in the stands. So like I said, if you see the gold jacket or before, hit me up. Like I said, on social media at Tino PATTIGNO. I'd love to meet any of you guys that are in the chat or any guys that are watching this and will be there. For other things I'm a part of, I will be going on Through the Gears with my good buddy Wyatt Watson this week, so stay tuned into that with Front Stretch. I'm on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio and Tubi. That airs on Friday morning, 7:45. You can also hear it on the radio throughout the weekend there. So looking forward to those things. I appreciate everyone in the chat. Quick shout out, Team 54, Big Ross, Brian, Tommy's in here, Iowa dropping some good knowledge. Kyle, Jordan in there. We got a bunch of guys in this chat tonight. Really appreciate all you guys trying to scroll up, get you all Robert. And it's just what makes the show even more special is always interacting with you guys, David in here as well. So I appreciate everyone. If I missed you, sorry, comment now, try to get you on the way out, but it's been awesome to be a part of this for, like Ryan said, 18 episodes. So I'm looking forward to Pocono this weekend.
Awesome. Really appreciate you guys. Tino, Phil, thank you so much. Great work as always. We will catch you guys next Wednesday night, same time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Enjoy Pocono and good luck this weekend.